Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. In this week's video, I thought I would share just some gentle routines that I do throughout my house and in the garden as a new mum to make the weeks seem a little less overwhelming. My son is now almost 9 months old and I am only just starting to feel a little bit more like myself and not being so anxious and overwhelmed with the weeks when I basically take care of him by myself. Scott does work from home, which is amazing. However, it's just me pretty much looking after Grayson throughout the week. Cats are always involved in the videos. So anyway, I thought I would just share a few snippets of our week and how I am trying to make the mundane seem a little bit more interesting of all of the jobs that I get up to, and try to think of things to entertain Grayson while also entertaining myself as well, because whilst we love books and playing with toys on this little soft mat that we have, it gets a little repetitive, and both me and Grayson, I think, can feel that. So I want to make sure that I am getting outside and doing all of the things that I also love, like cooking and baking and just also keeping the house nice and tidy. That's something that just makes me feel a lot better. And just making sure I'm creating a nice warm space for our family. So make sure to get all nice and cozy for this video. Grab a cup of tea or coffee and probably a snack for this video. And I will share how our week goes and some of the things that we get up to make the week seem less overwhelming and a little bit more gentle on ourselves. Mornings are pretty slow these days during Grayson's first wake window of the day. Unless we're going to a swim lesson or some other appointment, I usually like to enjoy this time either with a walk in the garden, lighting a candle if it's particularly dark and early, and getting cozy in front of the heater with a cup of tea. I usually feed Grayson when he wakes up, then watch him play with toys before he has breakfast, and then crawls all around the house. If I can, I like to get up before Scott and Grayson and do step outside into the garden and get some fresh air and do a few things around the house before they get up. But lately this hasn't really been my reality as we're still in the depths of poor sleep right now. If possible, a slow morning can be really important, especially in early motherhood. For myself, it gives me the space to start my day in a much more calmer and intentional way instead of feeling rushed from the moment that I wake up. It not only sets the tone for the day, but it supports my overall well-being when I can actually sit and have a cup of tea and some breakfast. It also encourages me to connect with both Scott and Grayson when we can set aside time to actually just be as a family, and it also helps me to remove the decision fatigue that I sometimes feel about what to do in the morning or how to start my day and what we're going to be doing for the day. If I can prioritize a slow morning, it just really helps with my mental health and removes any anxiety that I might have for the day, and just really sets my day up with something that I can really look forward to with some quality time with my family. Another gentle routine I've tried to implement in my week is working on one job that needs doing in the garden. I've said so many times about how important the garden is for my mental health, but not with all those overwhelming feelings that can often come with taking care of a large garden. So to manage this, I just choose one thing each week that I can do to kind of keep on top of something, and again, remove that decision fatigue that I have right now about so many areas of my life. I either work on this job throughout the week by doing little 10 minutes here or there, or I set aside an hour on the weekend to get it done. And this week I was pruning some of the plants in my cottage garden. I really want to shape a lot of these plants to be kind of like round hedges and have a little bit more direction for your eye to go towards, to have a little bit more of a cohesive space in this small garden that I have just outside my house. So I started with that rosemary plant. Then I needed to also trim back the lemon balm to refresh that for spring. The rosemary before, it's looking pretty bad right now, and I think a lot of these are going to look worse before they look better. But this is my first experience and first go at actually properly pruning plants to create a nice ball hedge. So we'll see how they go. I had a few friends joining me on this little garden adventure. And I'm excited to see how these grow. I tried to kind of just firstly shape them into what I think looks good. And as they grow, I will continuously kind of hedge them back. I think they will grow quite quickly, and now is a good time to do any pruning that you have. I really love these coastal rosemaries that I have. They are so hardy and they've grown so well. They do look a little sad now that I have given them a good haircut. However, they will bounce back over the next few weeks, and I will share the progress of these. They can grow to a decent size, so we'll see what they look like. I did have to open up a little bit of a space next to one of them just because half of this plant had died from all of the wind that we had, but this is going to be a really great space probably to plant some cosmos in this area. I also went down the back of the property and gave all of the natives a really harsh cut back. This looked so brutal. I forgot to take a before, but if you go back a few videos, you'll be able to see what this garden looked like. And everything was just getting really tall and lanky and looking very unhealthy. Like some of these plants had hardly no leaves on them because they really needed a good prune. So now that I've given them a very harsh cutback, they will grow nicely and be able to hedge up this area and to block out the fence a little bit more. And I just put all of the cuttings from these onto the ground. Yes, it's probably going to attract animals that I may not want, like snakes and other little animals. However, I don't really walk or plan to walk through this area, so they can stay there and it could just be a nice little habitat pile for them. But these plants are definitely going to thank me in the long run in terms of the blooms that they will produce and all of the gorgeous foliage. Most of my day is spent doing a lot of small jobs around the house and running around after my child as he eagerly explores all the cabinets and kitchen utensils that he can get his hands on. Folding laundry, like all these cloth nappies, and putting on loads of washing, tidying the kitchen, doing some meal prep are just some of the more mundane tasks that prior to having a baby, I just did not really care for. I was outside pretty much all day working on the flower farm or making YouTube videos, and housework was the last priority for me. Like, it all got done eventually, but I just didn't really enjoy the process of any housework. Things have obviously shifted a little, and I've kind of had to change my mindset around these chores because it does make me a lot calmer to have a more tidy home than chaos 24/7. And this includes things like meal prepping for Grayson and Scott and I. I will usually throughout the week do things like roast veggies, like I roasted this pumpkin and then used it in multiple different dishes. I will make things like zucchini slice and banana bread just to have things on hand, and it really does make my life so much easier, and it's just a rhythm that I've got into that some part in the day, usually when Grayson's awake, I will be doing these kinds of things so that he can kind of see what I am getting up to. And while he sees me do things like tidying up and cleaning and things like that, I also want him to see things that I love to do, like baking and making little treats here and there. But overall, like keeping my house tidy isn't about having it perfect at all, but it does make the day feel a lot easier. When things are in their place and I know where they are, I obviously spend less time searching for what I need and more time actually enjoying the day with my baby and being able to do things like this, like bake some cookies. Sometimes I like to do all of those simple home rhythms that I spoke about when Grayson is awake, and sometimes I do them when he's having a nap. It's all about how I am feeling on that particular day. Some days I like to just sit and read a book, like this book that I am currently reading, which I would definitely recommend for anyone who has a YouTube channel, really. I think it's a really interesting story, and I wouldn't say I'm enjoying the book because that's not really how I feel. It's very shocking and I don't know, very eye-opening, I suppose. I do think it's an important read for a lot of people to just be aware of certain things online. But as I was saying, I know a lot of mums do things like they do something for the house, something for their child, and something for themselves during nap times. And while this is ideal, it's definitely not my reality right now. And lately, to be honest, I've just been prioritizing myself during his nap times to have a bit of a rest, catch up on YouTube, go in the garden and harvest something, or read my book, or work on my laptop. Nap times are usually when I like to fill my cup and recharge. It's time that I can use my brain for non-baby things, when I can, dream about the future and what our life is going to look like when we make our big move very shortly. I've been working a lot on our house design lately, which I'll be sharing over on Patreon this month, and looking for things like designs for chicken coops or the types of apples that grow best in our very cold climate that we're moving to, or the position of where I would like my gardens on our land. Early motherhood really did shock me in the beginning, and I did, through a little bit of postpartum depression, lose that ability to be excited about the future. And during these little nap times, I really do take some time for myself now to remember what's important and what I truly want in my life. Something I've really been trying to do lately is try and wind down in the afternoons. Scott usually finishes work around 5 o'clock, which is then a good time for me to just have a little bit of time in the garden, even if it's just really simple, like taking the compost down to the compost bin, which is very, very rough at the moment. My compost bin is it's not really fantastic. It's not looking great. I have to have a lot of really rough material on the top, you'll see here, just to make sure all of the birds and animals don't completely take all of the food scraps out. It's just something I haven't had time to properly work on lately. But this is usually about half an hour. I get some time where Scott can just take over for a little bit after he finishes work, and I can have some time to myself. I usually come and check on all of my seedlings. This particular day I realized that something had eaten all of my lettuce seedlings that had germinated, so that wasn't too fun. But I will also just spend time with the cats and have a relaxing night. I will often try and, use some nice skincare that I like. These are some of my favorites that I have at the moment that were a birthday present from Scott, and I have been loving them and actually just doing something nice for myself in the evenings. And sometimes I will have a bath with a bath bomb and just have a relaxing afternoon, usually with some kind of hearty dinner at the moment to enjoy the last of winter. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you've made it this far, make sure to leave me like a little cozy emoji in the comments so that I know you've made it to this part of the video. I did want to do a little outro to this video just to be quite realistic for you and a little bit of a reality check. I do find that the slow living, cozy kind of content and even motherhood content online can be very picture perfect a lot of the time, and I just wanted to have a chat at the end of this video to share that my life definitely doesn't always look like the gentle routines that I talked about in this video. This is something that I strive towards each and every day, and if I manage to kind of work towards one or the other, then that's fantastic, but it isn't really the reality for my everyday. I wish it was. However, it's just some things that I'm working towards slowly in my life to kind of incorporate them a little bit more. A lot of what you don't see on camera is like all of the dishes that we leave on the counter because we don't have a dishwasher, all of the piles of laundry that needed to be folded when laundry just gets on top of me and I don't have time to fold and put away clothes. Same as sometimes just the toys don't get put away at night if I'm doing like a little bit of a wind down routine. Sometimes I will just prioritize myself for the whole day, and any spare moments that I do get throughout my day are for me and when I just sit and relax, rather than really making sure that I'm hitting all of those gentle routines that I spoke about in this video. However, I do hope that this video helped you in a way that it might inspire you to incorporate some kind of gentle routines into your day, whether you're a parent or not. I do think that all of us can slow down a little bit, and that looks different for everyone. This is what I try and do throughout my week and really does help me to not be as overwhelmed with all of the motherhood jobs and just life in general. A lot of videos are very curated online, and yeah, I do like to show all of the beautiful things, like all of the beautiful flowers and food that we grow in our garden. And if that's all I showed, then I think that would be a little bit disingenuous. So I just want to, throughout my videos, just do little reality checks here and there just to share the other things that I don't share too much online, which is all of the mess and chaos that is my life. So if you've been feeling like you need a bit more gentle routines in your life, I really hope you enjoyed this video and that it helped you. And if you're not in a stage where you can really structure your days or your weeks, I totally get that, because I'm only just now 9 months postpartum really trying to prioritize more routines and be a little bit more gentle on myself after 9 months of just trying to figure out this whole motherhood thing. I'm still trying to figure it out. However, I only just feel now as a new mum that these things have become a little bit more routine based for us. and can become a little bit more manageable for me rather than solely just taking care of my son and doing all of the mum life activities. Hopefully that made sense, but thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world. Make sure to give this video a like if you did enjoy it, and any kind of interaction with my videos does help me out so much. And I also have extra content over on Patreon if you would like to join over there and join a little monthly live chat with me and a few others as well. We have a really great community over there. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a lovely, cozy day.